If you did indeed tune in to the first ever SmackDown to air on Fox, your lasting impression will either be, wow, it's Cain Velasquez, I can't believe that he's here, or what did they do to Kofi Kingston? Why have they buried him in the sand? Because it took all of 10 seconds for Brock Lesnar to pin the WWE Champion after one F5, and that did indeed instigate a belt change. Obviously, it went from Kofi onto the shoulders of Brock Lesnar. But if you can believe it, there have been faster title changes in WWE history. So with that said, my name is Simon Miller. Welcome to What Culture Wrestling. And these are the 11 shortest WWE title changes in history. Number 11, Brock Lesnar versus The Big Show at Survivor Series 2002. Going into Survivor Series 2002, Brock Lesnar was on top of the world. He was coming off his victory against The Rock, where he did indeed taste championship gold for the first time, and he was kicking everybody's ass. Unfortunately, at this pay-per-view, he came up against The Big Show. The Big Show had secretly, don't tell anyone, aligned himself with Paul Heyman, and of course was the manager of Brock Lesnar at the time. He turned heel because he was a giant dick, and that allowed The Big Show to become your new champ. What nobody saw coming was that this was all said and done in 4 minutes and 18 seconds. 4 minutes and 18 seconds, because The Big Show decided, I'm going to aim for Brock Lesnar's ribcage, and he chokeslammed him into a chair, and he was attacking them the whole time. And then, yeah, when Paul Heyman did do his dastardly deed, we hadn't even got to the 5-minute mark, and there I was, looking at the 7-foot giant with a big belt over his shoulder. I mean, 4 minutes and 18 seconds. However, the whole thing did work, which kind of lends weight to this Daniel Bryan theory that if you do put people in, oh my gosh, he lost his belt really quickly situations, they will get behind you. Because what did Brock Lesnar do after this? He went on to win the Royal Rumble. He then went on to headline WrestleMania 19, where admittedly he almost killed himself against Kurt Angle, but he didn't, and he did end that night as the WWE Champion once again. But still, 4 minutes and 18 seconds. Number 10, Randy Orton versus The Miz from the 22nd of November 2010 Raw. So as you probably worked out before you smash play on this video, a lot of these are going to be Money in the Bank cash-ins, because of course they are, and the first comes here at number 10, where the official time was 2 minutes and 44 seconds. Fresh off winning his briefcase at the Money in the Bank, The Miz decided that this would be his night, and after Randy Orton and Wade Barrett was done, it was over. And by the way, that match was only 4 minutes. His music hit, he came down with the referee, and he said, Mr. RKO, I am cashing in on you. The announcers went nuts and said that The Miz was nothing but an absolute jackass, but it didn't matter because he used the situation to his advantage, and he did indeed become WWE Champion, which nobody could believe. Because like 1 or 2 years prior to this, The Miz wasn't even allowed to eat in the locker room with the rest of the guys. Fast forward to now, and he was on top of the world. That had to feel pretty damn good, especially because, like I say, it didn't even take him 3 minutes to get the job done. If you're an old school fan, just for you, I will say, did somebody say 3 minutes? Obviously, nothing is going to happen now. I'm just pulling at straws. Number 9, John Cena versus Edge at New Year's Resolution 2006. We all remember this one because once more, it is a Money in the Bank cash-in, but it was Edge, and it was at a time that nobody really knew what the hell was going to happen or what the hell this briefcase meant. He took advantage in just 1 minute and 46 seconds, but this time his opponent, that being John Cena, did have a legitimate reason as to why he wasn't able to fight against this. He had been in an Elimination Chamber match which had gone around 35 minutes, so he was spent, he was exhausted, he didn't have energy left, and when he pinned Carlito, he probably went, oh, thank goodness that's over and done with, and no one spat apple in my face, and Edge was all like, on this day, I see clear, and he came out and then he won. Edge stared at the belt like he was a 10-year-old and he just got a Master System for Christmas, and again, it was the first time that anybody had done this, which meant he wrote himself into the history books. Also, man, the Rated R Superstar did come across like this was the best moment of his entire life, and that just added a bunch of weight to what we were all experiencing. John Cena added to this as well. He looked absolutely devastated. It also started a whole new gimmick for Edge, because of course he became the ultimate opportunist, and as we know, this wasn't the last time he would get this done. Number 8, Roman Reigns versus Sheamus at Survivor Series 2015. 37 seconds this one, 37 seconds, and I don't think at any point prior to this we would have assumed that Sheamus would be the guy to accomplish it, but he did. And like like I say, he did it against the big dog. It all came after Roman had finally beaten Dean Ambrose at the end of one long-ass tournament, and also kickstarted a new story where Triple H just wanted to ruin Reigns' life. Sheamus was his surrogate. Sheamus was the guy that he picked. So yeah, as soon as Roman had pinned Dean Ambrose and was holding that belt aloft, out came Sheamus, bro kicked Roman half to hell. Triple H were like, woohoo, we did it. And he did get the 1, 2, 3. The pay-per-view itself did have a really cool ending shot because on one hand, again, we had Roman looking like he just lost his own foot, but Triple H had this conniving smile on his face, and Shane was just elated that he was able to get back to the top of the tree. And there was also some kind of subthreads where people were going, well, this is what Seth Rollins did at WrestleMania 31, so I guess just one of those things. Serves those Shield boys right. Of course, the idea of this was to get Roman cheered more than he was ever cheered before, and we didn't really accomplish that. And before all was said and done, he just fought Sheamus in a match, and he won his championship back. Number 7, John Cena versus Batista at the Elimination Chamber 2010. This one was just weird and was all over in 32 seconds, and it wasn't even a Money in the Bank cash-in. But once again, John Cena had defied the odds and come out the other side of an Elimination Chamber as the winner when Vince McMahon just strolled out with his crazy walk, and he was all like, look, John, I don't really like you. I don't think you're a very nice person. Therefore, as I am the boss, I have decided that right now you have to have another match. And it sucks to be you because it's against this man. And out came the animal Batista. He gave him a spear, he gave him a Batista bomb, and like I say, within 32 seconds, John Cena was lying on the floor and Batista was your new champion. Now, this was all to set up a match at WrestleMania 26, but it was very confusing because you were like, Vince, if you can do this all the time and you don't like the person who is currently holding your promotion's belt, then why don't you always just waltz out after fights and do this, and then you'll always have the upper hand. But as we know, there are a lot of plot holes in professional wrestling, and he only did it here. Well, he did it other times as well, but in terms of this list, he only did it here. He gave it to Batista, then Batista left, then John Cena left, Vince McMahon all alone. Number 6, YOKOZUNA versus Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 9. We all remember this one, especially if you were a kid at the time, because it just made no sense. After YOKOZUNA and Mr. Fuji had cheated Bret Hart out of his WWE Championship, he throws salt right in his eyes, out came the only just returned Hulk Hogan to try and get some justice. And he did that in 22 seconds by somehow convincing these two idiots that they should put that belt on the line straight away, and then after a single leg drop, Hulk Hogan was your champion again. 22 seconds. 22 seconds. It was the Hulkster's 5th title reign and was meant to take WWE back to the top of the mountain. But even if you go and watch fans in the arena that night, I mean, I think they were enjoying it because it had a surprise factor, but nobody wanted to see this. We'd seen Hogan as the champion for so long, we were desperate for something different. That could have been the Hitman, that could have been Yokozuna. Hell, you could have put the belt on Mr. Fuji himself. Poor Mr. Fuji too, coerced into offering this challenge after his client had only just won the damn thing. Who would do that? If I win the lottery today and then someone comes in and says, Simon, let's have a fight to win the lottery money, I'd be like, no, idiots, I've got the lottery money. What do I have to gain? Nothing. But that's what Hulk Hogan did. Again, it was meant to spark a revolution. It didn't. And a few months later, Hogan was out the door for a good few years. Number 5, Kofi Kingston versus Brock Lesnar on the 4th of October 2019 SmackDown. And here it is, the match that kicked this list off. To begin with, it is of course Kofi versus Brock Lesnar for that WWE Championship, and the official time according to WWE.com, 9 seconds. Don't forget that 3 of them are what it takes to do the pin, so we're talking about 6 seconds of fighting. It stirred up the internet good and proper because they couldn't believe a 6-month reign by Kofi was ended just like that. Although I do like the excuse or the reasoning that, hey, if we're presenting this like a sport, we see this in MMA, we see this in UFC all the time. Somebody goes in, fists are flying, that's a mistake, they get clocked, and they're knocked out really quickly. And that's basically what happened here. What was Kofi hoping to do? He ran and launched himself at Brock Lesnar, so unless he was going for a flying headbutt, he was probably always going to get caught in an F5 and smashed into the floor. But really the idea here, or so you would assume, is that, you know, WWE are now on Fox. Fox used to be affiliated with the UFC, Brock Lesnar, well, that audience is aware of Brock Lesnar, so to WWE it makes more sense to put the belt on him. And don't forget that he hadn't wrestled on TV for about 15 years, and he hadn't been the WWE champion since 2014, so this was just ticking boxes all over the place. Somehow though, we do have shorter ones. Let's get on with it. Number 4, Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose at Money in the Bank 2016. Another one that lasted only 9 seconds. There is absolutely no way WWE wants you to talk about this today, because it did see AEW's Jon Moxley beat Seth Rollins, who is now one of the top guys in the company. And this night in general was just crazy, because we saw people win Money in the Bank and then they were just cashing in their briefcases like they thought they had to do it within 24 hours. But after Rollins had beat Roman Reigns in the main event, which was quite a big deal anyway, and he held that belt above his head really proud, out came Dean Ambrose with his new toy. He did what you had to do, and yeah, like I say, it took one dirty deeds into the floor, and Dean Ambrose actually became the WWE champion. If you know anything about Dean Ambrose's time in that company, that is still quite hard to believe. This was also around the time that Roman Reigns was suspended for a wellness violation, which has not triggered this event to begin with. But right now in 2019, WWE would rather we didn't talk about this, because it kind of negates Brock Lesnar's 9-second win. When you go, oh, I know about another 9-second win, they go, shut up! We don't want to talk about it. Number 3, Bob Backlund versus Diesel at a 26th of November 1994 house show, Madison Square Garden. Now this one only went 8 seconds, and it happened on a house show, and I was always led to believe that we didn't have to care about house shows. So they're really fun to go to, and you should go if they're in your area, but they don't apply to the television product. They don't apply to the canon or the law. Apparently sometimes they do. This was so strange as well, because Bob Backlund walked in there with all the fire in the world as your WWE champion, which in 94, the mid-90s, was a bit bizarre anyway. He got kicked in the gut, he got jackknife powerbombed, and all of a sudden the 7-foot Diesel was our new guy. And everybody in the arena was like, what the hell happened? 8 seconds is nothing. And Bob Backlund, even at that point, was kind of considered a legend. It was just such a shock for all the reasons that I laid out, but also Kevin Nash had not been in the company that long, and nobody expected him to be given this much of a push so soon. In fact, people in the arena that night were like, oh, he's going to kick out, or it's going to be a DQ, or someone's going to come from the back and change the decision. But they didn't. And when you did tune in to television the following Monday, there he was. Not only that, but Diesel held on for the title for 1 whole year until he dropped it and then shifted over to WCW. I mean, there is so much here that we could get into forever. The depth of the thing is like a swimming pool. Go and read about it now, or at least go and watch us on YouTube. It will absolutely blow your mind. Number 2, Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton at SummerSlam 2013. Another one that clocks in at 8 seconds. This one means a lot to me because I was actually at this event. If you go back and watch it now on the WWE Network, it is absolutely brilliant and has this shock ending, as indeed Daniel Bryan beat John Cena to become WWE Champion after the running knee, which no one could believe to begin with. But then out came Randy Orton after Triple H screwed over Bryan. Randy Orton cashed in his briefcase, and all of a sudden he was champion, and we had the authority, and everyone was like, what's going on? And yeah, if you want to get super picky about this, technically Daniel Bryan was champion for 4 minutes and 7 seconds, because he did a lot of celebrating, and there was confetti, and Triple H was running around pretending, obviously, at that point, woohoo, I can't believe that Daniel Bryan did it. But in terms of the match time, 8 seconds. He didn't even get attacked by Orton himself. Like I say, Triple H revealed his true colors. He pedigreed Daniel into the mat. Randy Orton, with a giant smile on his face, just covered him as the game made the 1, 2, 3. And obviously this ends at WrestleMania 30, but still. The real thing, and I know this because like I say, I was in the crowd, is that hearts were almost broken that evening because they finally seen their lovable Daniel Bryan make it to the promised land, and then before the night was even done, it had been stolen away again. Now in hindsight, it's all good because we had an even better moment at the following April, but I remember it, people, they could not believe what had happened. We're always going to be in love with Daniel Bryan. Number 1, CM Punk versus Alberto Del Rio at SummerSlam 2011. Who else would be top of this list but CM Punk, who did indeed lose his WWE title to Alberto Del Rio in 5 seconds. This, of course, came after all the craziness in that year when we had the pipe bomb promo and then the Triple H stuff, and here he was fighting Kevin Nash, which no one ever saw coming, but it ended with Alberto Del Rio being the man. And it got even worse because on this night, Punk had already defended his WWE title against John Cena in a repeat of their Money in the Bank match, and that is something that everybody wanted to see. What we definitely didn't want to see was ADR, and on top of that, we definitely didn't want to see Kevin Nash, which of course we did on this evening. It also took one enziguri to put Punk down, and I know that he'd just taken on the man that you can't see. Could we have done a better move than that? Couldn't we have put him down with something more devastating? We didn't, and really, it's a credit to both men. They were able to pull this off so quickly. You can barely do anything in 5 seconds. Like, it's really, really, really hard, and yet they were able to do that here. So I'm sorry, CM Punk. I hate to say this to you. It's kind of strange as well because CM Punk's obviously on the outs with WWE, Alberto Del Rio is definitely on the outs of WWE, and yet they hold this dubious honor. And I'm guessing they always will. The shortest you could do anything is 4 seconds, and even then you have to get that pin on really quickly. This record may never be broken. Now, don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know about any other short WWE title matches you can remember. Like, share, and subscribe. Head over to WhatCulture.com, read yourself some articles. Follow What Culture on Twitter, What Culture WWE. Watch more videos here at What Culture Wrestling. My name is Simon from What Culture. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you soon.